Today I'm showing you 5 sketchbook ideas for beginners as well as artists. Let's go! My first idea is to draw some Polaroid pictures, and you can put some tiny paintings or drawings in them. So you actually have more than one drawing on your page, and it looks kind of neat, although your drawings can be very simple since they're smaller and they are cohesive here and together hung up on a wall or wherever you want to have them hanging. And you can just put some Polaroids in there just lying on the desk or something, and just have no background at all. But I decided to kind of hang them up on strings, and I have some on paper clips and a bow and things like that. And I wanted to make it a little bit cute. And yeah, the background is just very simple, bright blue. And then the pieces are a bit detailed, but not too much. By the way, I was inspired by paintings and drawings I found on Pinterest, so not all of those designs are completely mine, but I changed them up quite a lot, so I don't know if I have to put a disclaimer here or not. I just wanted to say that I got inspired by someone else, so yeah, I painted some sceneries, some, you could say, landscapes. I wanted it to be a bit cohesive and sort of have a theme. I didn't want to put people in my Polaroids. Of course, you could do that, but I really didn't want to because those would be so small, and I think it's quite hard to draw small people or people in a small, you know what I mean. Now I'm putting a tree in there, and maybe it doesn't fit the color scheme too well, but I quite like it that way, so it's there. And I used my Copic markers and some other markers. I really love the Winsor & Newton Pro and brush markers. Yeah. And we're on to the next page already. And this one is really easy, especially if you're a beginner or just looking for something to get your head free. Do you say it like that? Is that an English sentence? I don't know. But it's very meditative. You can just have fun, just relax, calm down a little bit. And that's to just draw those swirly bits. It's just a very simple pattern. You can use markers for that. You could use wet mediums like watercolors. You could also use colored pencils, whatever you feel like. Maybe with colored pencils it would take some time. I don't know. I really liked it with markers, and the lighter shades got a bit of an outline here, and I really like how it turned out. It's very simple. It's easy, fast. Yeah. You can see that the markers did not bleed through those pages at all. That's the render sketchbook. It's amazing. I really love it. It's just for markers. I don't really like it for wet mediums, but I really love it for markers. So since I don't like it too much for wet mediums, for the next pieces we're going to use my Moleskine watercolor sketchbook. And here we are. That's this idea is to paint flowers in a glass jar. I know that's very specific, but I feel like most people like flowers. So to make them kind of be put together, put them in a jar or a vase. And I used my gouache for that because I really wanted to paint flowers with gouache. I love how that looks. I think gouache and flowers go so well together. I don't know why, but I really love it. And I kind of had a color scheme for that. I had pink, green, and blue, and that's it. And I think it's amazing if you just use a limited color palette, and everything looks so cohesive. And I also love how pastel those colors are. And yeah, all in all, I really love gouache. So if you haven't tried gouache before, try it out. And if you want to know where's the difference between gouache and watercolors, I actually have a video about that. I will link it in the iCards just in case you're interested. Then I added a label to that jar and a little bit more details. And I had so much fun with that one. I really took my time. And since it's currently Inktober, I added some line art as well. I actually did line art for every piece there in this video, other than the last piece it has some line art, but it's with colored pencils, so it's not really Inktober. But I don't always add line art, and this time I really felt inspired to do it, so I think that has something to do with Inktober. And then I wrote on that label fresh flowers. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. It was so much fun. It's just a simple painting. And then you can see it on the other page already. My next idea is to paint a globe, but not just any globe. This is a glowing globe. I used masking fluid so that I wouldn't paint on the globe at first, and then I mixed some purple colors and added a background. By the way, you will see a lot of galaxies in this video. You already saw some galaxies on the first page, but here's the next one. I really love how this one turned out. I used my Daniel Smith watercolors, and I don't know which color because I mixed so many of them, but one of those colors really made this purple granulate. That means that the pigments kind of separated, and I think that effect is so cool. I don't always like it, but in this case, I really love it. And now I'm painting the globe. You could, of course, skip the masking fluid and just paint around it as well. And now the Inktober part. I'm actually using a fountain pen. Is that a fountain pen? Or what do you call it in English? I'm so sorry. I didn't look that up. But I actually had quite fun, although you can see that paint splatter on the globe here. Yeah, I fixed that later. And yeah, but other than that, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm not too patient for that medium. It's not my favorite medium. I think I'm not going to use it a lot because you can see now that the paint it gets dry so fast. You lose the paint so fast, and you have to dip it in the paint again and again and again. It's not the same with watercolors. You don't have to do it as often, or at least it doesn't bother me as much. Yeah, and then I added some colored pencils here. I really love that you can get different texture with them. A lot of people don't like colored pencils for that, but I like it to add some texture to a piece sometimes with colored pencils. Yeah, and now the galaxy is done as well, and that is the finished painting. Now let's move on to our last painting, and I really hope you like galaxies. This one is to draw a light bulb with a galaxy in it, or you could also put anything in it. You could put the ocean, water, the sky with clouds. You could put anything in that light bulb, really. And now I added, so the paint was half dry, and then I added some water, just water, and this is not sped up. You can really see how the water spreads here. I think it looks magical. You don't want to have that effect all the time, so sometimes you really don't like that. If you want to paint skin, for example, and you get that effect, it looks terrible sometimes. But in this case, it looks so cool. Now I'm sharpening my colored pencil, and I really love that sharpener. It's magic. I don't have to sharpen. I just love it so much. You put the pencil in there and it sharpens for you. I think, I don't know why, but that was the best investment ever. It was like $15 or something, and I really like it. Yeah. How long can I talk about a sharpener? Now I'm adding here a little bit of texture, and now I'm doing the galaxy. This one is quite a light galaxy, but I really like it anyways. And I thought that it looked a bit plain, so I added this kind of background to it. I don't know if I like it more with or without it. I actually can't decide, but it's quite okay. By the way, the giraffe on the left side, that's Gary. He's waiting to be painted, and he will be painted very soon. I don't know if it's gonna be on camera, but you will see him eventually in a sketchbook tour. So this piece is done as well, and this was the last piece. Those were all of our pieces. And let me know in the comments down below which idea you liked most and what you actually might like to try out for you as well. I really hope that you liked this video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you next week. Goodbye!